What's going on, Nerd Nation? This is Sleevecard signing in and welcome you back to another edition of Test That Team here on the channel, where we find teams out on the internet, wherever they may be, test them out on Showdown, and see if we have a stud or if we have a dud. So today's Test That Team comes to us courtesy of Latios out on Smogon, and the team itself he calls Mind Blown, and that is because it focuses on two new mons coming to us from Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and that is Naganadel, Naga, the evolution of Poipole. Sooner or later, Game Freak will figure out that just give us three-letter word Pokemon like Mew, stuff like that. So I'm not over here trying to pronounce Naganadel, whatever the hell it is. Evolved Poipole, we'll call it Naga for the rest of the episode, and Blacephalon. That one I got, Blacephalon. So, testing out those two mons in this episode of Test That Team. So, scouring the internet, I found a hyper offense team, courtesy of Latios once again. And as the team kind of scrolls across on the screen, let's go through how it kind of works. So, it really focuses on these two new mons from Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon that everyone's talking about that have made their debut in OU, overused on Smogon. Naga, in particular, is, of course, Poison Dragon and is the evolved form of Poipole. Now, everyone's really freaking out about this thing because not only is it an Ultra Beast that evolves, which is the first of its kind, but also Poison Dragon is a typing that really doesn't get used. I think Dragalge is the only one that actually uses it. So it is a relatively underused typing. And, of course, the stats on this thing are ridiculous. It's got a souped up special attack, as well as speed. So the two main things you need in a hyper offense team are attack and are speed, and this thing comes with both of them. Now the other little weapon new to us from Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Blacephalon, is a fire ghost, which again you really don't see that much. I think Chandelure is the only one that comes to mind as far as a fire ghost mon, really. So again, another underused type. Again, souped up on the speed, souped up on the special attack. So really this team focuses on hyper offense off of those two mons. We have Naga, we have Blacephalon, and then the third little factor onto this hyper offense that is new to us from Sun and Moon, or Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon rather, is with the addition of tutors in Alola, you can now add Sticky Web onto Ribombee. So, Sticky Web, of course, is a hazard that you can send out and lower the speed by one stage of anything swapping into it. So, it's an interesting entry hazard. Obviously, it's not used as much, I feel, as the rest of them. So, you definitely see Stealth Rock spikes and Toxic spikes a lot more than Sticky Web. But this team here is playing on the Sticky Web just to see how it works out. So, we've got those three, and we have three other mons to kind of round out the party. We have Mega Pinsir, we have an Excadrill, and we have a Magearna. So really the point of the team is to get out Excadrill using stealth to drop Stealth Rocks, or get out Ribombee to drop Sticky Web, or in an ideal situation, get them both out and have a Sticky Web Stealth Rock combo that you're forcing everybody to swap into. While after that you are able to set up with Blacephalon and Naga just to sweep and go from there. So, let's take a look. That's how it works. Let's look at what it does well. So, first off, the pros on this team. So, number one, this is my favorite thing. It has a ton of sweepers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Duh, it's hyper offense. It should have a ton of sweepers. That's the point. And you would be right. You know, obviously, hyper offense that's the point. It's hyper offense, so there's a lot of offense. But what's really stands out to me, and the reason why I say it has a lot of potential sweepers, is I played around with this team for maybe 2 or so hours, and during that time, obviously you're not seeing all 2 hours on the screen, but during that time, all 4 mons really had a type, or all 4 that are appearing, rather, had a moment or two where they actually swept. So I did see Naga come out and I saw it sweep using Fire Blast, using Draco Meteor. Sludge Wave, even though it was a stab, I did not, I didn't end up using it all that much. Blacephalon kind of surprised me. It came out and swept its own a bit. Mega Pinsir, Magirna, they both came out and swept as well. So really having something where each and every match, depending on how it played out, I did have a potential to have at least a different Mon come out and sweep. That was really appealing to me. The next big thing that I really liked was Sticky Webs. So Sticky Webs is really underused. Obviously, it's not spikes, it's not stealth rocks, it's not toxic spikes, so you're not going to see it spammed 100 times. I guess 100 would be 5,000, but, whatever. You're not seeing it spammed a whole bunch, just because the mons that use it really aren't that far up on the ladder. Even Ribombee. Ribombee's not OU. I believe Ribombee is RU, so I believe it's rarely used. The other big one, obviously, is Shuckle, Smeargle, as far as Sticky Web setters. And again, they're not that high up on the tier. They're not that big threats, especially in OU. So it was kind of cool to see this thing come out because with us being hyper offense, again, it comes back to speed. It comes back to attack. So, excuse me. So having a Sticky Web setter, that actually gave us quite a speed advantage a lot of times, and that would set up a lot of my sweeps. So we would get Ribombee out maybe as a lead or something along those lines. Get the Sticky Web out, knowing that we have Focus Sash, so we don't have to worry about getting one-hit KO'd. And then we would use that speed advantage, would give us the advantage for Naga, and would give us the advantage for Blacephalon, which really otherwise might have come into a speed tie or something like that, especially with some of the faster threats in OU, especially things like +1 Hypnosis, Circuitry, or Kartana, stuff like that. Now, the other thing, speaking of Ribombee, the other big thing that I really loved about this team was Ribombee kind of operated as like a hyper-offensive counter towards the other teams. And what I mean by that is using Sticky Web and also having Stun Spore on it was very, very spammable. So I could come out with Sticky Web, and after we get the speed drop, Stun Spore, it's not as spammable as Thunder Wave, which is unfortunate. If we had Thunder Wave somewhere else on the team, that would be a preferred thing. But given the constraints of the team, Stun Spore definitely came out, and it was definitely useful, especially for taking care of some ground threats. So we would run across things, a lot of, let's say, Landorus. We would run across Mega Tyranitar. A lot of those would constantly pop up over and over again. So having something to get that paralysis on, in addition to the speed drop from Sticky Web, definitely went a long, long way as far as bettering this team. And right now, hyper offense is definitely picking up around the league. You see a ton of hyper offensive teams. I think, honestly, out of like every 10 matches, I will probably see like 6 to 7 hyper offense, maybe 1 or 2 trick rooms, and then 1 or 2 just kind of like random thrown together things. So hyper offense really dominates right now. So having something that can counter another hyper offense, so your hyper offense can come out, goes a long way. Now, of course, not everything is great. Not everything is peachy when you're looking at all these teams. So it does have a couple drawbacks on the team. Most notably, and this is going to be the first thing, noticeably, all those things. The first thing that's going to jump out to you, of course, is it has a massive glaring weakness to ground types. I mean, if you look across the team, Naga is weak to ground types. Blacephalon, weak to ground types. Magirna, Excadrill, all of them not so hot. Pinsir, Ribombee, again, and especially when you factor in that a lot of the ground type mons also carry some kind of rock coverage. So they'll come out and, you might have Earthquake, but you also have Rock Slide alongside it, or you have Stone Edge, or something like that is going to pair with it as well. And when you look at ground and rock dual coverage, it takes out this entire team. So really, this team does not like running across those kind of ground mons. In particular, Scarf Lando, so Scarf Theran form? Yeah, Theran form. Theran form Landorus was terrible for this team. And it would come out, it would Rock Slide, it would Earthquake, it would U-turn out of threats. So anytime I would come in with like a Pinsir to try and deal with this, it would U-turn out, so I couldn't really trap it into anything. It just became a gigantic pain in the ass. Like, pardon my French, but it was a pain in the ass. So dealing with those two was obnoxious, especially when you consider that when it comes to ground types and the ground type sweepers and attackers, you're going to see those two probably more than any other ground type in OU. So those two pop up incessantly. So dealing with them is definitely a pain in the butt. Another big issue that I had kind of going into it is Focus Sash on Excadrill. And this is more of a personal thing. Well, the next point is going to be more of a personal thing, but this is kind of an in-between personal and technical issue. So the issue I have with this is Excadrill, if you have Excadrill as your lead, it works out. Because obviously you're going to come out, you're going to Stealth Rock first turn. You know, you lose the Sash possibly, but then it gives you a chance to Toxic next turn because you're max invested into your speed. That's fine. Now, in the case of Excadrill not being your lead, which for me was probably about 50% of the time. So half the time it's my lead. The other half of the time, Ribombee was my lead. And I'd send out Ribombee, and we'd start off with Sticky Webs, and we kind of go from there. Well, when that happens, that Focus Sash is useless. And the reason for that is Excadrill typically... So Excadrill's role really is Stealth Rock and also Hazard Control. So if you have, think about it logically, if you have hazards on the field, let's say it's Spikes, let's say it's Stealth Rock, that's the one I'm looking for, Stealth Rock, Spikes, whatever the case may be, you're going to send out Excadrill into that hazard, and it's going to take chip damage. So the second it takes chip damage, before it rapid spins, anything like that, your Sash is already broken. So 50% of the time, that Sash is just dead weight on the team. The other 50% of the time, sure, it works out because you can get a Stealth Rock off and then do whatever else you need to do. And my other concern, this is the other big one. So the team obviously is based around Naga, and the team is based around Blacephalon, and that's really the whole focus on the team. Is those are the two that you want to get out. In title, like in name, that's the two that this team's supposed to focus on. But I found out, like from testing this, that I probably use Mega Pinsir more. Like when I got down into like the nitty gritty and I needed to pull out a win, I was going to Mega Pinsir well before I was going to Blacephalon and Naga, and pretty much because those two would go down pretty early. It was just a little hard to get them up and running, especially with this weakness to ground, because I would have, let's say, a Mega Tyranitar come in and just start unloading on us. So I would find myself using Mega Pinsir. Now, that's more of a personal issue. Like, it's not a bad thing that I see Mega Pinsir, because it would come out, it would use, like, Aerial Late, Priority Quick Attack, stuff like that. But for a team that advertises itself as Blacephalon and as Naga, yeah, I would like to see them kind of pull more of their own weight. And that could just be my own personal usage or the experiences I've had, but I can tell you, like, in 2 hours, Mega Pinsir probably pulled his own weight a little bit more. And a fourth point that's actually not on here, just for space constraints, but another one that was another big issue, is stall teams blow this team out. And by that I mean, like, there is nothing really that's going to break a stall. Like, Chansey can hold up, Clefable can hold up. Like, you can, here's the thing, you can force it out with Blacephalon, stuff like that, just from coming out and having Mind Blown and having Fire Blast and all that stuff in your back pocket, but you can't truly, like, defeat it, per se, because they just swap out, bring something else in to kind of counter out your Blacephalon, and then bring it back out later. So there's really no, like, one stall-breaking Mon on this team, so there's not, like, a set wall breaker. Blacephalon is probably your best wall breaker. Blacephalon is probably your best wall breaker, but that's all relative as well. It's just not... It's not kind of what you want, but it's better than nothing. So, overall, guys, because I'm not going to blow up all the grades and stuff like that this time, because I want to keep the video a little shorter, because we're getting closer into where we want to be. But overall, guys, I'm giving this team a B+. And you can see all the other grades kind of down the side there. But the reason for the B+ is, one, I really enjoyed it. Great team. I liked using the new Mons because... Obviously, I haven't really had a lot of experience using Naga. I haven't had a lot of experience using Blacephalon. Ribombee as a Sticky Web user, again, new. Like, Sticky Web, again, it kind of flies under the radar, so it was a little refreshing to do stuff like that. And as far as the other three Mon, I've used Mega Pinsir before upon occasion. It's not my favorite Mega, but it's definitely usable. So using Mega Pinsir was cool. The other two, I was kind of like lukewarm on. So Magearna and Excadrill, they both played a role, but I could go either way on them. But I did overall like the team. I think it had good synergy overall, which is, again, why I gave it an A. So I think it had really good synergy because it works towards what it's designed to work for. And by that, I mean, it's going to get the Sticky Webs up, it's going to get Stealth Rocks up, and then you're going to send out your Sweepers and do what you need to do. So it does pretty much what it needs to do within the constraints of the team, but it doesn't always get a chance to shine as well as it could due to its overwhelming weakness to ground types. If it could handle the ground types better, I probably would go into other things. Obviously, some options there would be like, Magearna has leftovers, but maybe we give it Air Balloon. Air Balloon could give it some immunity to ground types. There's a couple different things we could do with the team to make it a little better, a little more versatile on the ground type situation. But overall, I like the team. Not quite an A team for me, but just on the cusp. Like, if it was a little better at handling the ground types, it would go up to an A, at least an A-, something like that. But where it kind of stands with the ground types, that's what's holding it back. Especially considering there is no team out there right now that is not running some form of Earthquake. So there's going to be an Earthquake, an Earth Power, or whatever the case is. There's some ground move on every freaking team right now, and all you need is that one Mon to come out and just start spamming Earthquakes. And your life will be ruined. But with that being said, guys, that's what I think of this team. That's the rating we're going to go ahead and give it. If you want to give more personalized feedback to Latios, I will leave the link down in the description so you can check out the team. Check out the reasoning behind how the team's laid out and everything on Smogon. Links down below. And of course, while you're down there, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe, because as you know, your support is always greatly appreciated. If you guys have a team you'd like me to rate, if you have a team you want me to check out, give feedback on, whatever the case may be, also leave it down below or shoot me a message either on YouTube, on Twitter, or at contact.sleevecard@gmail.com. So either of those three, shoot me a message with the team. I'll be more than happy to check it out. Even if it doesn't make it test that team, I'll still check it out and give you guys some feedback. But with that being said, guys, this is Sleevecard signing out. Have yourselves a beautiful day, and I will see you later.